yeah, all together.
I missed you last week. Good replacement.
Jay tried for sure.
Upstairs?
No, I got just trenches.
Kristen, do you need anything? You're all right? You're good.
For healthy choices.
Want to see me do more? Yeah, and there's a on this website.
And then I realized that I was here. Oh, okay. Also, yeah, you noticed this. I just see a mossy rail in front of us. I worked over last time. You remember that?
We need your bathroom here.
Well, I was sitting in front of them.
It's working.
Are you really gonna do that?
The day in paradise, man. Copy that video.
Oh, sure. Let's see.
Thank you.
There's a lot of
Darcy, would you please lead us in the pledge?
Sure. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Just a couple of quick housekeeping things. Please remember to turn off your cell phone. Beyonce may be all the rage, but I don't want to hear that in the middle of the meeting. Quick question. Does anybody here have, just by a show of hands, is there anybody here who is planning on addressing the public for a non-agenda item? Okay, then I won't go into the directions for public participation. Okay, board comments and observations. Trustees? On any non-agenda issues?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
It's been noted that our flashing lights are still used once in a while
On the bus.
on the buses, even on the rural buses.
Brett?
Has been addressed, and we are in the conversation, as we talked about before, how to minimize the exposure of those lights when other drivers are tailing to the backside. So I think I found a solution this weekend, so I will bring it back up with transportation.
Superintendent Wells, would you please send the trustees a quick follow-up email when that's done, just so we all know that it's been addressed? Thank you. Any other comments or observations at this point?
Just like to congratulate the wrestling team. Good showing, especially all underclassmen. Good job, so pretty proud of you.
Absolutely, thank you for that. Okay, seeing no others, we are moving right along. Again, unless someone's changed their mind, we're not having any public comments on our agenda. Okay, let's move on to the approval of the minutes, January 17th special board meeting. I assume you have all reviewed the minutes from that board meeting. Do we have any additions or corrections at this time? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes for the special board meeting as submitted.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the special board meeting minutes of January 17th signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The minutes are passed. We also have the minutes of a regular board meeting that was also scheduled for January 17th. Do we have any corrections or additions at this time? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to accept the minutes for the regular board meeting as submitted.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes as submitted signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? The regular board meeting minutes are passed. Moving right along, communication and discussion items. Number 3, update from the high school representative, Sophia. It's so nice to have you back. What do you have for us?
Hawaii was wonderful.
Yeah. It was really cold here while you were gone.
You picked a great time to
Didn't
leave.
really go below 80. It was great.
Yes.
The homework killed me though, if that makes anyone feel better. That's when I go. There are actually a lot of things going on. We're going into a lull right now at PHS. We started a new semester, so things are starting to get going again. We just recently had our Respect Rally, which if you remember, we got our presentations from Special Olympics to become an allied. We had that rally, and the Link team joined up with them, our freshman orientation, and it was hilarious. There were funny games, and I think there's a really good message, and then I think the student body got into it. So that was really fun. And then we're also doing Valentines for all of our freshmen, so every freshman gets a Valentine from their Link leader tomorrow. Also, congrats to our wrestling team. They took 5th overall. We had 1 5th place, 2 4th place, 1 3rd place, and 2 2nd place. So 6 were really good placers, and a lot of them were underclassmen, so that was really cool to see. A strong team coming up. We had a really good season for speech and debate. We had new coaches this year, Bob DiGileonardo and Kyle Dunn, who's a newer teacher. And it was kind of a transition year, but they did really well for that. They have a really small team, about 1/3 of the size of every other team. So we're trying to bring up interest in speech and debate, but we even had some placers. They placed 6 of 18, which is pretty good for their size of their team. Sophia Speck placed 5th in Lincoln Douglas debate. Annabelle Smith and Caitlin Toland as a duo placed 4th in public forum. Geneva De Leon placed 5th in memorized public address and 6th in impromptu. So we did pretty well. I recently found out that I was accepted into the PAGE program with the state legislature, and there might be one other PHS student, and I'll be going in April. So that's pretty cool that I get to go work for the Capitol there.
Not till April though?
Not till April. I signed up for April.
They had to embarrass you in March.
Thanks.
Scratch that off the
Maybe we
agenda.
can take her.
run play is called The Bold, the Young, and the Murdered, and it's a soap opera kind of mock. So it's hilarious from what I see my little brothers in the auditions. I hear them reciting lines in the shower every morning. And it's going to show March 3rd and 4th in the auditorium. We don't know about prices yet, but that's coming along nicely. Band recently went to Hamilton for a band festival, which went really well. We had 2 Western Washington directors, I believe, and they were really nice guys. And then choir just did a trip in Kalispell, another festival there. 2 of the younger choirs went. Basketball, if anyone went to the last boys game, was a really good game. Nail biter, edge your seat whole time, but they won against Libby and the girls played, and they did pretty good. But they're having a pretty good season so far, and divisionals are in Hamilton this next week. Jenna Everts got the KPAC Student Service Award and was recognized on television, and we're also working towards getting her recognition within the school as well, which is pretty cool. She's a Key Club member, president, soccer, and a big part of Special Olympics. Quick one more thing. Mr. Humphrey and Mrs. Venters are taking Poetry Out Loud students to Missoula for a regional competition, which may go to state in Helena in March. And there are 5 students in that. And AP Government took a trip to the Bill of Rights competition, and they did really well, and they placed 4th. But all the first, like 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place were all within 14 points, so it was really close. And that's what I got.
Okay, great. Thanks, Sophia. Trustees, any questions or follow-up? Sophia, welcome back. Thank you so much. We always love hearing what's going on at the high school. Okay, continuing on, number 4. Trustees, do we have any suggestions for additional agenda items for future board meetings? And again, you can always contact me between meetings or attend one of the agenda settings. That is totally up to you. That brings us to the superintendent's report. Superintendent
We
Wells.
had Ryan come in, I think it's scared, so he's coming on the backside, I think. Is that in the law?
I understand it was locked when you started.
We'll see where he's at. My report, as is the, always some type of acknowledgement or celebration. This month, I wanted to recognize our calendar committee. Probably the cleanest, fastest, smoothest operation in deciding the calendar since I've been here in 5 years. A lot of that has to do with the pre-work that the admin team put together, Jesse and Binder. They both put a lot of time and energy into multiple options and was well prepared when we met as a committee. And so a lot of times it would be a 2, 3, or 4 day event meeting, and this was done in 45 minutes to 50 minutes. And so I want to acknowledge Mr. Albert, Mr. Pinkbinder, and that committee for a job well done. So appreciate that.
And really Jesse did leadership, so I can't take it all.
On Thursday, this Thursday, the 16th at 2:15, Polson School District will present to tribal council, and I'd like to invite you. You can make it at 2:15, feel free. This year we will we'll bring staff, but we'll also bring students with us in the presentation. So I look forward to that, having our students with us during that time. Again, that's this Thursday at 2:15. Brad Walters in the Elks. I want to acknowledge the work that Brad put together in celebration for NCAA signing day. We had 3 athletes that signed in that community event, and it was really well attended. I would say, I think they had 178 hamburgers, and they sold all of them, plus some others. So Matt Rinsvold, Tanner Wilson, and Jonah Burke, all 3 signed their letters of intent. So it was a great, not only for our school, our district, and what we had to offer our athletes, but just good for our community too, the support that they brought out. We met this last week with preschool. Actually, Mr. Appleton had pulled together a meeting with our preschool. Rhonda was present during that time. I've asked Rhonda maybe just to give us a synopsis of what the preschool grant development looks like. Rhonda?
Okay, thank you for letting me visit with you. Yes, last week, Bill Appleton, myself, and Bonnie Peterson, who is our preschool special ed teacher, met with Jody Jones from our Head Start. 2014, Montana Office of Public Instruction was awarded a $40 million preschool grant, which was a follow-up grant to the Early Reading First grant that I was involved with, but way more comprehensive. And I did not realize that Polson was going to be part of that grant. Actually, they weren't supposed to be at the time that OPI got this grant. Well, we have 2 of our Head Starts here that are going to be part of that preschool grant, Montana Preschool Development Grant. And as part of their responsibility with the grant as a sub-grantee is collaborating with the feeder school, which is Cherry Valley. And so it's going to be really exciting for us as we collaborate with Head Start. One of the goals of the grant is collaboration and alignment of data, of instruction, family outreach, in order to have a smooth transition from preschool into kindergarten. One of the exciting things about it is that the grant also funds pretty profound professional development for our kindergarten teachers in Helena, totally paid for by the grant. Their big summer academy is going to be this summer. Our kindergarten teachers have been invited to that, and our preschool teachers. It's a passion of mine. I'm very, very excited to be able to start this collaboration, start the conversations. So we've actually already started. We're going to be meeting with them, talking about we've got Kindergarten Roundup coming up, March 29th, 30th. We're going to already start that planning. But it's just an exciting opportunity for us, for Head Start, to further meet the needs for our little ones and transition, create a nice, smooth transition for students and families from Head Start into Cherry Valley. So I was kind of in a nutshell. Pretty exciting. Any questions?
Trustees? I have a quick question. In your communications with Head Start, have you gotten exposed yet to Project Launch?
Yes, actually I've been attending some of the Project Launch meetings. And so really putting a lot of feelers out. So we've been working with Project Launch for with the it's not Helping Hands, it's Handle with Care program.
Right.
Just a lot of different avenues. So yes, indeed, we are going to be collaborating with them as well, kind of just setting up some nice wraparound services for these
Because
kids.
I was thinking there might be some ability to tap into some resources, because I think they're 2+ years into their grant now, but I think it was something like a $5
You're right.
or $8 million grant.
Yeah, it was fun.
And that includes mental health services, which we know we are so in need of, especially at those younger
Yes.
ages with some of these issues that are coming up. So there might be some ability for some direct services that you can get into because of all that.
I've been working with Project Launch. We have no Alta Care right now at Cherry Valley, which is a huge issue for us. And so working with them, trying to figure out other options.
Okay, because I think it's up
So
to
absolutely.
age 8, so there might be some further
Perfect.
abilities to tap
Yeah.
into that.
So,
All
yeah,
about the
perfect.
partnerships and using those resources.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Ron. And lastly, as we've heard twice today, the wrestlers have performed very well. And I printed off their stat sheets, their team totals, and then the place winners also. It's in your package. That's all I have for you, Madam.
Okay. Trustees, any questions for Superintendent? Okay, great, thank you. Number 6, interim principal hiring process. Superintendent?
In your agenda, you'll see that there's a 4-step process. And it's important to, this is a pretty tight turnaround in terms of trying to get this into the next board meeting. I think it explained it fairly well. I hope you had time to look at that, the system which I had laid out. So, be interested in any questions that you might have.
Trustees? I think we're all good. response to the discussions that we've been having as a group ongoing in
I think the
stabilizing those positions and looking internally as much as is appropriate.
I heard this board discuss last month that, and we know the consistency within our organization is very important. I think I remember Shane was adamant that we look internal, make sure we look inside before we go outside. And so there is on this piece that the internal candidate preference. You'll see at the bottom of that, it says have recommendations to the board March 6th, pending that everything's put together well, but we may have to have a special board meeting if internal candidates don't work out or if they decline that. Then we have to go outside, and then that's where the fingerprint line comes in. So that's the reason for the potential special board meeting. Once that's taken place and the high school principal's recommended and hired, then we move on to the assistant principal and athletic director in that position, because that high school principal will be responsible for the hire of those two spots. The Cherry Valley principal, I'm going to make that recommendation next month to appoint or to recommend the principal currently, Ms. Kraut. And then also during next March 6th board meeting, we'll be recommended to hire all tenured administrators in our district.
Great. Okay, last call for questions.
One question, sorry.
Yes.
I'm not sure about the AD position. Is that an externally advertised position, or is that strictly internally type?
It hasn't been decided yet,
Oh.
because we'll let the high school principal get appointed, hired, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, somebody approached me about that position from outside.
From outside.
Yeah.
Good.
Any other comments? Questions? Okay. Thank you, Rex. And moving along, item number 7, the Greater Paulson Community Foundation presentation. Mr. Gage, thank you for joining us again. You have the floor.
How are we doing?
For a minute.
Yeah. We're just here to give out money.
Anytime.
That's what we're here to do.
The world will never be long.
Yeah, so I apologize, I'm late. I was looking for my co-presenter who has the certificates. So,
We know where to find you.
I don't know where she's at. So, we actually have 4 grants that were approved, so we're gonna give $4,000 this month. But a little bit of, we've seen first pictures on one of the grants that we've given out from Mr. Crosby, so the touch table looks pretty cool.
It is very cool.
Yeah. So it looks a lot of fun. So hopefully soon, once we get some of the other projects in place, and we need to follow up with some of the teachers, but I think the news agent, I mean, essentially they've said, let us know when you want us to come up, but they want to hit a couple of different grants all at one time, and then run them on the news over a period of time, but have it all filmed and ready to go in one trip. So that will be coming. So we do have 4 grants that are being awarded. One is to Brittany Simonich, who doesn't look like is here. She's getting some, I don't even know how you say it, Ozobots. Is that how you say it?
I think they're Ozobots.
Ozobots. Anyway, they look cool. Yeah. We look like we have a lot of fun at the accounting office with them, but the rest of the staff said I couldn't help. So that was one grant. We also helped in funding for some snowshoes from Melissa. So is this Melissa right now?
Yes.
I'm Ryan. How are you? So hopefully the snowshoes are a hit. We thought it would be a lot of fun for the kids to have some sort of activity and enjoy what we have here right now.
Somebody should list it.
And then, so I don't have the certificate, so I've got to find the emails. Sherry Delaney was being awarded a grant as well. Congratulations. And then Darcy also. is being awarded a grant. So those 4 have, some of them we put through the ringer a little bit to get their money, but we're excited for the things that they're doing in the school. We do have more money to give, so tell all the teachers keep the applications coming. I know that we've approved 2 more here recently that I'm not at liberty to announce yet.
Keep us on our toes.
But they're fun. So in all, I think we've announced 7. Is that right? 7 grants I think that we've given out in all. 7 or 8. Anyway, we've got $15,000. We've spent somewhere between $7,000 and $8,000 at this point. And our goal is to get all $15,000 out. So I do know that we have $1,000 one that was approved and the other one wasn't the full 1,000. So that'll give us some flexibility to do a little bit more as far as getting stuff out there. So let the teachers know it doesn't have to be a full $1,000. We're happy to fund $200 projects. We're happy to fund, whatever the project is. It doesn't have to be the full $1,000. That just means we can fund more projects. And then hopefully we can get some excitement in the news, get some excitement on our goal is TV news. And I think we're close, so hopefully that will spur some excitement in the community to support the schools. So thank you, teachers, for all that you do. We appreciate you. Thank you, board.
Thank you.
My family's waiting outside our food. Pictures would be great. Pictures would be great.
I think so, for a minute.
Yes, pictures would be good of kids using the stuff. Our goal is also to bring some sort of news coverage to, here's the kids using the stuff, here's how this works, here's what we're doing. Yeah.
I know, we can mount a video camera to the drone that's in,
Absolutely. If they don't
in-
fly.
yeah, in one of
If
the
they
other
don't fly.
classrooms, and we'll just, we'll take a whole
Yeah. Middle school's got drones in there, right? Have they been flying yet? I don't know if they've flown yet.
They're going through ground school.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
You bet.
On a side note, the grant recipients, if you send me some photos, I'll start collecting them. I went over and visited the table the other day and got some good pictures, and so I'll start putting them together and shipping them out.
And for some of us, we haven't spent our money yet, so we need to order through the district first to get that, so it might be a little bit of time.
We just got it.
So we just need to order that grant.
What were you guys
Well,
using your grants for?
I was gonna
I'm gonna
say,
use
mine was
mine.
asked.
I'm gonna use mine in science and math in the STEM and STEAM program to order science and math supplies. All the hands-on stuff, so.
And I'm trying to build on science and social studies with more, it's been difficult. I've taught for 30 years and probably the last 10 years they've really gotten good at building more emergent level nonfiction text. And so, because, when I was a kid, all the nonfiction text was always chapter books. And so you have these beginning readers and that was just far too difficult. But now they're coming up, I just brought a couple of examples, I'll just show you one real quick. This one's just about sea otters and they're high interest, beautiful pictures. They still have nonfiction text features with labels and captions, but look at the content. I mean, it's a little bit easier for some kids, not as much text, it's bigger text. The funny thing is that your more fluent readers will pick this up almost as much as your emergent readers because of the high interest. So my goal was to build more of this, to have in maybe our book bags, to work with WIN groups with the other second grade teachers. And kids love nonfiction. They love it, but sometimes it's just so difficult for some of the more emergent readers.
It's excessive.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what. Very cool. Yeah. So we're excited. Yeah.
Anything, I'm seeing, is anything else? All right, moving right along. Or I should have asked, I'm sorry, trustees, did you have any follow-up questions?
I see you.
Okay, number 8, Linderman News presentation, Mr. Bigbuck.
Well, I'll start us off, but this isn't about me at all. 4 years ago, my wife and I were sitting down saying, where are we gonna go for a new adventure? and Polson, Montana pops up, hey, never been there. But there was, on that time, there was a newspaper that Tammy Morrison did, and it was massively helpful for me to make decisions about what we're gonna do with the family. Since Tammy left us, we haven't had a newspaper, and it's just been bothering me. So when I saw that Kristen was gonna do a newspaper, the people in the room saw me do my first happy dance with them, because it's really important. So Kristen, I want her to show her what she's done, but it's, the whole staff is on fire about the newspaper. We just think it's fantastic, so I'll leave it to you.
Well, I just brought one. We don't have the funding, maybe I should present it to Ryan, but we don't have the funding for color, so I'll just give you one color. But I did bring some copies if you want to just take one pass along. It just went out in black and white to the students and home, and really my students in my class wrote all of the articles and did the photography. We had a newspaper journalist from The Leader come in and talk to them about what a good article looks like and what good journalists, how journalists can really dig down into the topic and write good articles. So this is the first wave of journalism for my group. And I feel like they did a pretty thorough job, but I'm looking forward to our next newspaper. And I have already had teachers come up and say, hey, we're doing this. And so if you want to send a kid down to do an interview and take some photos. So I have had interest from the teachers already, just getting word out there. The things that we're doing at Linderman, I think it's important to let the community know, involve them in the learning of the school. So that's basically it.
When is your next edition?
So my goal is to have one at the end of each quarter, so the third quarter, and then one at the end of the year. So if you, also if you have any ideas, things that are tying the school to the community too, or any school board interests, or
No, just my child.
there you go. She has something she wants me to put in. Yeah, just don't hesitate to contact me.
I told her.
See you. Oh, funny. Yes.
Ron doesn't spread this around much anymore, but he was a nationally syndicated columnist for years.
Oh, really?
Before he moved back to the Res. So.
And I know him. We've done work together.
So I think if you want to bring in some other local journalists, et cetera, it would be an interesting perspective. I think you'd have a lot of fun talking to the kids about writing or whatever topic you would like.
I would love to. Thank you.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Definitely.
I think when you talk about academic work in practice, having to do something like this as opposed to just writing in a journal or writing is huge. And whenever a teacher can find those ways to do that, it's extremely awesome. So I applaud Mrs. Wilson. The other two teachers that I have here do a lot of the same stuff too, but this is really big. And I know that the parents, some of our parents, that they were going crazy over this. And I do appreciate you putting the better looking Think Finder in the back page there. It was good to see the handsome man in there. But the kids are loving it and they feel pride in what they do, and that's huge. And I know Mrs. Morrison is going to benefit from that work. So thank you, Kristen.
No, there's a tremendous amount of effort that goes into something like this, and those alternative doors that kids get to enter into that educational space is just so important for so many of those kids. So thank you.
It's funny now they want to interview anybody who comes. Today Tim Lake came in and did a presentation in our class, and one of my girls, wait, is somebody going to interview him? We should please take a picture. And I was like, oh, my photographer's not here. We had to go chase him down the hall because my class photographer was absent today. And so, we didn't, so we brought him back. And so I have a girl who's going to contact him for an interview.
Awesome, I love it.
And there were some top dogs weren't mentioned.
I know, I should have mentioned them all, right?
Next
story. Oh, the watchdog story. Actually, that is a story, but the little kiddo didn't finish it, so it got pushed to the next issue.
Other issues?
Yep, absolutely. It is 3/4 written.
Gotta make sure it gets the respect it deserves. It's quality.
Don't want it to grow out of control and we gotta make it manageable. Right? Good things will grow.
Yeah,
One more thing before we depart, I'm part of the Community Partnerships Committee that Linderman has, and we have our literacy night on Thursday. You guys are all welcome to attend. It's from 5 to 7. We have lots of fun games and activities set up for kids to win books, free books. We've got baskets, the doors are decorated with their favorite book, and there's baskets they can win that are around a certain theme and all that. So you're welcome to join us from 5 to 7. We'd love to have you.
Good job.
If you don't mind, I'm going to head home.
I do mind, I think you need to sit back there.
Go out and have some honey and London.
Yes.
Senior all night party.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, any other comments before we lose everybody? Okay, let's move this along. Board committee updates. Number 8, facilities committee, Alan and Shane. Anything for us?
Yeah, we did meet this last week. Happily, didn't have really anything new to add. We did go over some of the major, some of the in-house projects they'll do. For instance, the reserved parking signs that was requested by Principal Pinkbeiner, and also the Cherry Valley. Dan said that they would do that in-house and get those put up for you guys.
Thank you.
Where you want them.
It's awesome.
Sound system in the gym.
Is awesome.
It is awesome.
That's a big one, yeah. That is the word.
Yeah, we're playing for 2 days.
It scared us on Saturday. It was very loud.
Well, way to go.
We're learning how to control the system.
Didn't they have training that same day as the facility?
I plugged in a kid's iPod and I had it all the way to the volume.
Oh!
Isn't that something on the roof?
I think it is the roof.
But it's nice, I heard a lot of nice comments from people.
The other main thing mainly was still some concerns with the high school roof drainage, snow coming off. Apparently there's some icicles that are going under water.
Or between the...
Between the gutters. So also in on that corner that we talked about, that entry corner where they always have to cone that off, the roads had some dangerous spot with snow coming off that road, so we need to possibly address it.
Where's that one at? Where's that, what corner is that one, Scott? By the mods?
Where you enter the school there, yeah.
We put ice dams in, well, we had them come back and redo those ice dams, but apparently they're not working.
So that's something else there.
Sorry, is that right underneath that table that, where the kids are?
Yep, right on that corner there. It's roped off. Also, unfortunately, we did have a leak in middle school, fairly good one, I understand, in the gym, so, which is not something we didn't know was gonna happen, but, yeah, we're gonna address that this summer. Other than that, that was about it.
Oh, and we looked at today, we're gonna find a lot of, after the ice is gone, a lot of issues, because after the ice is gone, I'm not sure our parking lot's gonna still be there, because it's sinking.
That, we did discuss, there's a lot of sinkholes.
Just be ready for that, I don't know.
So,
It wouldn't be surprising just driving the streets of Polson. You see it
Yeah,
already.
same thing, but be ready. Giles looked at it today, and
He has a plan of attack.
Okay. Any questions for Alan and trustees? Okay, thank you very much. Policy committee, Steve and Shannon, do we have anything?
I think, Rex, you can update us on that, because we had just a call, right?
That's right.
Yeah, there are 2 policies that'll come up. There were not.
Formalities.
Yeah, they were not rewrites or revisions, they just need to be seen again, it's a yearly piece, so it'll come before you. Carl will have it for us when it gets there. But we did not have any policies that need to be rewritten or revised.
Budget committee, there have been no ad hoc committee meetings since the last one we had. Do we have anything, do you think, coming up in the next, that we'll need? Have any?
Maybe, but, oh, yeah, it's in,
Would you remind folks about the training? I don't remember the date off the top of my head. Is it March 1st?
I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, March 1st.
There's a is it too late to sign up for the training?
No.
Okay, there's a training, for those of you who've taken it before, it's a budget symposium offered in Missoula one day. This one is specifically, correct me if I'm wrong, geared toward trustees and is not one of those super in the weeds for business managers. I went to one of those and thought my head was gonna explode. So this one I'm hoping is a little more my speed. And if any of you are interested in attending, please let Pamela know. So we don't have any upcoming budget committee meetings at this point. Moving on, negotiations committee. Oh, that's not happening yet. Okay. Class A caucus committee. Tim, we're coming up on that soon. Any other?
Yeah, so we're further than last year out of the committee. The infrastructure bill made it out of committee, which with that committee that's a formidable hurdle to get over, especially. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's any sense of the timeline on any of it?
Yeah, I mean, that kind of depends on how nasty it gets, I think, more than anything. So that anything with money always needs to come down to the end. And
Right.
see where we go.
How's our reps feel about this, our Kurtz and?
That I don't know. I didn't feel like we got a lot of support last year, to be honest with you.
And we don't have any feedback yet on the Quality Schools grant. We went over to, Tim and I went over, 2 weeks ago?
Right.
And for the Quality Schools grant, and that sounds like there was a loss in Supreme Court of about $17 million on riverbed tax that it was going to use to fund part of our quality schools. It didn't sound real hopeful, but more so maybe, as Tim alluded to, that it might be more so than it was last year.
You know, because the issue, I mean, they didn't have the money before either, but it's just a bonding issue, and that was the decision that they decided by one vote last year not to do any bonding, not to borrow any money, which is why we didn't get it, and they usually do borrow money. That does affect it because it's less money that they have to pay back, I guess.
Right.
But, yeah, I'm more encouraged this year than last year, so we'll see.
Any other questions for Tim? Transportation committee. I know we have something coming up on new business, Alan. Other than that, is there anything? Okay,
No.
so we'll just defer it until the new business. Okay, thank you. Superintendent evaluation committee, Chanel.
I don't think we really have anything until we get further down to the.
You and the committee had agreed to meet to provide some kind of follow-up feedback as far as the process for next year?
Oh, we haven't met that for that yet.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, I mean, there's no like super rush on it. I just want to make sure I don't forget. Yeah, okay. All right, that brings us to the budget report. Pamela.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Besides what I've listed as usual, and I just wanted to make a little note there that the BMO miscellaneous card charges, seem to be getting higher, and we can detail that out a little more if you want to see that. But Deb has been trying to compete with the bigger schools in the state and get more, because that is our reimbursement for as much as we can get on that card. And so she's been persuading some businesses to be able to take our card instead of sending out a check, and therefore we get more kickback. And so right now we're third in the state behind Sydney and Glasgow. So yeah, wherever she can use that BMO card, she does. So that is getting bumped up there.
So
but
that's why.
Yeah.
It's not that we're like operating so far the red, we're putting in a card.
No, my list is shrinking, and it was like, Deb, where's all my vendors? And they're all under BMO, a lot of them. So I'll start breaking that out more, just FYI.
Sounds like we're third in the state in credit card debt.
It's not where you really want.
We get 1% when we pay.
But for her, when she's paying bills and behind, and she sees posting behind 2 other schools, she's like, oh, I gotta get them. They have, some have, some don't do that at all, but, yeah, it's not locally, but, some of the other ones are. And it's an ease for her to pay, obviously, and some of the other vendors as well, so.
Other
But
than
they have
these,
a credit card fee that they have to pay,
Yeah,
right?
but they're already maybe doing it for some of the others.
Yeah.
They probably run it in batches.
are there other benefits to us for you, other than ease of, paying a single?
We do get kickback from them, and it varies in percent, but we do get a percent back in bonus dollars. So yeah.
So it's like the Costco card?
Yeah. Right.
It takes a year for us to get it back.
Yeah, it does.
Every little bit we can get. All right.
Other than that, I just wanted to let everyone know that the impact data applications went smooth and were submitted successfully. January 30th, it was due on the 31st. We have the numbers for that, so I guess we'll see. But we have 216 out of the elementary of the enrollment of 1143, which is right at just below 19% on that application. And then in the high school, we have 106 out of 477, so it's at 22%. So we'll see what legislature decides on how much of that they want to give us next year. The trustee election I told you about last month, and it is still open to anyone that wants to, the intent to be on the ballot. We need the one trustee for the remaining year of Leader Charge's original term, and which Shannon is now filling, and so she will need to be elected if she so chooses. And then 2 trustees, Chanel and Caroline, will need to be re-elected if they so choose for the 3-year. So we'll know by March 23rd what the intent is, and if there needs to be an election or not, or just an appointment.
Okay.
And enrollment was just submitted, and we're pretty status quo actually. It looks like we might be only down 3 students over the district. So,
okay.
And then I submit TR6 reports tomorrow, which are transportation reports for our reimbursement for that. So this time of year is a lot of getting everything in so we can get our dollars back.
Okay. Any questions for Pamela? Thank you so much, Pamela. Okay, if you have nothing else, then we will move on to the consent agenda, item number 11. Are there any items that need to be removed for consideration on their own? Seeing none, then I will ask the trustees, at this point I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as submitted signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The consent agenda passes. New business, item number 12. Recommendation to approve superintendent contract. Chanel.
I guess you guys have any questions? Usually the number. You all have them in all of them. It's pretty cut and pretty black and white.
I'm not sure if I got the number.
It's in the.
It's in there.
Okay.
It's in the form.
This is the memo. Little bait and switch on there. In the super secret file.
Okay, I was like,
Okay, now that everybody is on the same page, do trustees, do you have any questions regarding the superintendent contract that was drafted by the committee? With assistance from Paul.
we were super thrilled and excited, and so I just think it's fine.
Okay.
If there was a question, we can answer it. Otherwise-
Anything different from previous contracts, I guess, that might stand out?
I think the CPI is
Oh, yeah.
definitely a difference. That Oh, yeah. I mean, that's, So- yeah, that's, we wanted to kind of remove any, just to kind of have a real hard number for wage increase. And so we use CPIW, which I wasn't what it was too. Yeah. So that was good, and that's something that they use for social security, or the cost of living increase. So that's what we settled on.
Any other questions? Any questions or comments from the public? At this point, I would entertain a motion to pass the contract as it has been submitted.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the contract for Superintendent Wells as submitted signify by saying aye. All those opposed? The contract is passed. Item number 13, recommendation to approve early retirement incentive. Superintendent Wells.
I trust that you had a chance to look at the memo. Again, in good faith with our union, Mr. Crosby and I have sat down, I vetted that, even though we don't have to, we sat down and talked about what this would look like. And one is, as admin team, we certainly wanted to get something out early, as we did last year was late, and it really wasn't an effective use tool for the purpose as it could have been. And so early recognition and early understanding, getting that out so that people have time to talk to their representative in TRS was important. And so this is the reason for it. What we're looking for is about 25% of the population of our 126 individuals. We're going to take 25% of that, which is roughly 32 employees. Of those 32, if you went from seniority, it goes from roughly some 35 years down to about 17. So we're looking at from 17 to 35 that could potentially, if they choose, engage into an early retirement package. The difference between this package and last year's is last year is what $15,000 straight into a health savings for insurance. This year's is going to be a $10,000 cash or 2 years of insurance, which equates up to $12,261, I believe. And so it's either or, neither one being having the ability to go to retirement. Unlike other districts have gone to that route, and it wasn't successful. And so this is either going to be $10,000 cash or 2 years of insurance. Again, roughly 32 employees, 24 from the elementary district, 8 from the high school district. We're going to be able to take 3 from the elementary, 2 from the high school. And I put that number in for the simple reasons that in the efforts, this is not against our tenured teachers. This is not disrespectful. I mean, this is about budgets and what we're looking for. And so we have a line item in retirement funds of what we would have to pay for their incentive pay, the personal leave, sick leave, and so those pieces we have to pay back out when someone departs our district. And so what we can afford is 3 and 2, 3 elementary, 2 high school at this time. And that's going to be roughly $61,000 to pay that out. So that's what our budget will allow. That's the reason. So 25% of the population paying off 3 and 2 out of elementary and high school. We're going to give that opportunity to our employees. Yes.
Does it have to be 5, or what if just 1% does it?
So that like 1 out of.
So does it have? Are you wanting 5, and if only 3 do it, you're not going to do it, or you need 5?
So the language also is one is I don't want the high school or the elementary to counter effect each one of those districts. So if I only get 3 from the elementary and 1 out of high school, then we still will consider, the board has the opportunity, in the language says the board has a consideration to accept whatever we recommend or I recommend. So it can be a 3 and 1 or a 3 and 0, if you will. Like 3 elementary, no high schooler, we can still run with the elementary district. Does that answer your question?
I think, could there be 1 elementary, I think.
Could there be 1 elementary?
And no high school. What's the minimum you're willing to accept?
Would we have?
Does that make sense?
I don't think we had a minimum. However,
didn't we have a minimum last year?
Yeah,
I think there was. I think it was very specific.
But I do not have a minimum on this one. No.
Okay.
So a maximum of 5, but no minimum.
Yeah. No minimum.
Yeah. How many took advantage of this last year? 2.
I think we had 3.
many were available last year?
You know, I don't know what that package looked like. I don't know how that was, it was 15 years and 20, right? So they had to have 15 years of experience, right? And, or 20 to the district, to total teaching.
It was 15 in the district.
15 in the district, yeah, 15 in the district, and 20 total. So we bumped that up to 17 years, which is like 25% of the population. But also at that line, help me Doug, I think that's 67,120, I think $67,000 on 17 years of experience. Roughly.
Is it 17 years experience or is it 17 in the district?
17 in the district.
In this also in the district, so they bump that up.
Yes. And quite frankly, I mean,
Yeah.
for the simple reasons that if we had 20 years or 17 years teaching, that could be 3 years in Folsom, which on our salary schedule would be 10, right? Whatever we come in at. So that would be down into the lower levels of the salary matrix.
And just to be clear, this is all driven by looking at kind of the spread of our staff, and when we brought on the new pay scale a few years ago, it wasn't very balanced, and the whole idea is to just, it's purely budget driven, trying to get that a little more balanced so that we can continue to sustain that level of compensation.
In a healthy organization, you want to be somewhere between, well, early would be 78 to 84% of your salary would be of your total budget. We're anywhere from 91 to 92% right now. So in efforts to get into that healthy range, you need to get in that mid-80 range. Hence the reason for early retirement.
So then the medical care, the 12,000, is that time value of money on $10,000 spread over 2 years?
It's $510 a month. That's currently what the employer contribution is for their insurance. So it's just that amount for 2 years.
2 years.
So it's $12,240 is what it comes out to.
Would basically cover our high deductible plan, the $6,000 deductible
Right.
plan is what it would cover. So if you wanted to go with a lower deductible plan, you would have to pitch in some for yourself as well.
And we have people do that.
And that amount doesn't change the second year if for some reason you were to have an insurance increase.
No.
It's
Stays the
5,
same.
10.
Expected,
And the cash, is it distributed? How is that distributed?
And one lump sum.
The,
Not kid Bill's cash.
You guys take credit cards?
What happened at some point? If there's kickback.
I think two things that are important in this situation. I don't foresee us doing this again. And traditionally, it's about a 3 to 4 year cycle on early retirement. The problem, the process is that it's a 2 year event before the district sees a savings. It's because the first year is out of the retirement payoff, the incentive, longevity bonus, the sick leave, the personal leaves. We don't see a healthy increase to our budget. It's the second year that we see that. And so to keep rolling them over isn't an effective use of management. So we're going to recommend it be about every 3 years to 4 to do that.
Is that part of the reasoning why we may need a minimum?
No, I mean, if it doesn't come to fruition this year, then we know in 4 years that we might have a better turnout. But my issue with it, Mr. Dupuy, is that we conducted this so late last year. I'm not sure if we would have. I think that we're going to have a better turnout. Personally, I think we're going to have a better turnout being earlier and having time for people to consider it, rather than being so rushed. I remember last year that people had very little time to even think about it, and then just kind of threw their hands up and said, "Oh, it's not going to happen." And so I'd like to see where we're at with this year, with even out of the minimum, and then we'll know what it looks like for about 3 to 4 years out.
That was the main thing when my first visit to about 2 months ago was I said we need to get that early. because that's what happened last year. It wasn't good for anybody because people were saying to other people, "You're going to retire." People took offense, and so having it done this way, it's going to be much easier.
Yeah, both my administration team and the union both support that, to get it out soon. Mr. D and I talked about 2 months ago, and it was his quest to make sure we get this done quickly, early in the year.
But do you see these two figures as equitable?
Yeah, I
As
believe
cash
so.
in hand and wait 2 years?
I believe so, yeah, definitely. And I think, I think adding the insurance was a great one, because we've got some people who are looking at, they were maybe considering retirement now, but then looking at they needed to bridge that gap of insurance, before they go into their mid-60s, whatever. So I think it's a great incentive to do that.
Do we have any other questions? At this point, I would entertain a motion to approve, how's this worded? The early retirement incentive as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further debate? Do we have any comments from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the early retirement incentive as submitted signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The incentive is passed. Item number 14, recommendation to approve policies. Superintendent Welts. Now, are these those policies that
They
were
are,
recommended? Yeah.
Carl, would you comment on what these policies, where they are?
These policies, one's a policy, one's a procedure, deal with federal impact aid funds. And one of the requirements of the impact aid application is that the board reviews our policies and procedures. So last time we reviewed these and brought them to the board, we had quite a few changes to the procedure, specifically with what we call groups of people and that type of thing. So there were a lot of changes. At this time, we're not recommending any changes to those. However, it doesn't preclude you from recommending a change if you see something that needs to be made. But at this time, we're asking that you basically approve them as written.
Trustees, do you have any questions or any recommendations for changes? Okay.
I'm just curious how these various things are documented.
More specifically, when
Notify tribal officials and parents of Indian children. How do you document this process?
Impact 8, the whole.
Right, so when you say in number 6 that you notify tribal officials and parents of Indian children of the locations and times of meetings, how do you document that? So in other words, if I go back and audit and say, okay, you said you were going to do this, how do I do that?
That committee has an agenda that's public, and then I'm not sure if they hold an attendance. They'll usually attend those.
So if I read you right, there's an Indian Epperall, Pete Plant is running that meeting currently.
you mean the Indian Education?
Indian Education Committee. So there is an agenda and a sign-in sheet, but I'm not sure if that's.
But I don't know, that's not notifying people of the meeting.
There's an all-call that goes out before every one of those meetings.
And they've started Facebook text messaging, so they do have notification of their meetings. It's a monthly meeting.
And I think they list them outside of the school too. I think I've seen it too. I just know.
So we just get emails on them.
And is that meeting normally held at Cherry Valley?
It rotates, but JOM parents do get an all-call before each one of those meetings.
So I guess my question is there one single document that does all this? It says, here was our all-call, here's where it's posted.
Oh, I don't know what the recording is. Is that included in the application each year?
No.
It's not. That's not a part of the application. The policy is, it states that will be done, but I don't know.
Let me get some more info.
Okay.
Because I'm not clear on that either. Because our Indian Education Committee, I'm not so sure this is what it's talking about.
I believe it is though, part of what
It's-
they're doing.
it's-
Mr. Appleton, I mean, keeps agendas, sign-in sheets, the communication that goes out there for all of those meetings, so.
I'm not sure, yeah.
And
Unless
the
I'm
officers of the Indian Education Committee have the opportunity to review the application and then certify that these things have been done.
I know they were a part of the reviewing of the policy when we changed
I
it.
did that.
Okay.
Bill meets, prior to that, Bill
When I was
meets with
on that
that.
committee, no.
I'll get more information for you.
Is Title VII part of that? Would that be part of Title VII funds?
Yeah. Yes.
So I attend those meetings and, yeah, we have an agenda, we have sign-ins. We keep record of the meetings that go out and who attends.
Trustees, any other questions at this point or suggestions for changes? I know we passed the requests for other items, but I do think that that would be a good thing. We haven't talked about that in this board, this iteration of this board for a while. It might be good to have a reminder of how those things kind of, that information flows.
Agreed.
Okay, seeing no further questions or suggestions, let's take these one at a time. At this point, I would entertain a motion to approve policy number 7231, federal impact funds as written.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Do we have any comments from the public? Do we have any further debate? All those in favor of approving the policy 7231 as submitted signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The policy is approved. Now let's consider the procedural part, policy number 7231P, federal impact funds policy. Can that say
Procedure.
procedure? Yeah, that should say procedure. Okay. So again, policy number 7231P, federal impact funds procedure. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve it as submitted.
I move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further comments? Any further debate? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving policy 7231P as submitted signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, the procedure is approved. Okay, and now we're going to play like Tetris with your calendar because we have some board meeting changes coming up. Number 15, recommendation to change the March board meeting date. Superintendent Wells.
In front of you, there's a calendar, 4 months of calendar. There are several dates that overlap, and we see the need to make a change to our calendar. I want to do it early so you have time to make those changes. The first move will be for March. March 13th was a scheduled board meeting. I recommend that we move that to March 6th for the purpose, and it doesn't spell that out in the memo, for the purpose that Trustee McDonald, Trustee McGinnis, and I will be in Helena for the advocacy day for being at the Capitol. And so I'd like to be able to attend that, so we move it from the 13th to the 6th. I put down on that calendar that you'll see that we do have that day on the Hill, the Capitol. So that would be the first move. Secondly, if you move into April, the regular scheduled board meeting was April 10th. That falls square on the first day of spring break. So that would be difficult to get students and staff here for several reasons. One, with we're engaged in the foundation, giving out money, and then having students in front of us, it's going to be difficult. So I propose to move that up to the 3rd, so from 10 to 3. Hope that's clear. And then that opens up our spring break. Any questions on those two moves?
Does anybody see any like mass conflict with those days? Okay. We need to vote on these changes one at a time. So at this point, I would entertain a recommendation to change the March board meeting from the 13th to the 6th as presented by Superintendent Wells. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further comment, discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of making said change signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The change in the March meeting date is made. Now let's consider item number 16, which is the recommendation to change the April board meeting from the 10th to the 3rd. At this point, I would entertain a motion to make that change. We have a motion and a second. Any further comment? Debate amongst trustees? Seeing none, all those in favor of moving the April meeting as described signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Jumped the gun there, sorry about that, guys. Okay, so it is passed. All right, number 17, recommendation to approve high school out-of-state travel. Mr. Wilson.
Thank you. High school has 2 upcoming trips for students. The first one actually is fairly quick. And the reason for the late date on that is we were waiting to see if the student also qualified for a bigger event, which would have been in Minneapolis. But she has been selected for, she did not make that, she's been selected for the All Northwest Choir, which takes place this weekend in Bellevue, Washington. And the second request would be in March. Our choir and band would like to go on tour in the Spokane area. And that's right, I don't know exactly what that means. I do know that it's several events they've got lined up, including they're waiting for this approval so that they can solidify their tickets to Mamma Mia one of the nights when they're there. So, any questions?
Seeing no questions from the trustees, at this time I would entertain a motion to approve the request for out-of-state travel.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any further comment from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the recommended high school out-of-state travel signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The out-of-state travel is approved.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I just have a question. How does one person, is it just the one that's going this weekend?
Yes.
How does she
So
travel?
They are flying. So her and Miss Schubert will be flying, and then they are using different means of transportation once they get there. Miss Schubert has it all worked out in terms of which was the best deals and all of those things. But yeah, so this is part of their fundraiser that they do. I think we've been very fortunate. It's not every year you have it, but I think we've had kids make it for like the last 6 years.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of an expectation right now. So they raise the money and hoping that we do get somebody that qualifies. So last year I think we had 3. If I remember right.
Okay. All right, moving on to item number 18, recommendation to approve the 2017-2018 school calendar. Mr. Yarborough.
We had a great calendar committee, and it was run, it had representatives from the board, PEA, PECA, and the administrative team, and it seemed to go fairly smoothly, and it was a lot of consensus. So we ask that you pass the calendar as submitted.
Trustees, I trust that you've had time to review the calendar. Do you have any questions?
Jesse, why is it problematic for the high school to go into June?
Well, once you get much past June 10th, Tim, you're looking at boys state and girls state, where some of our top students are leaving, as well as, we get a little bit more out of kids earlier than later. And it's not, everybody starts to drift much past June 10th. And so, but in particular for the high school, it's those events that start to happen after that.
Any other questions, trustees? Seeing no other questions, I would entertain a motion to approve the calendar for the 2017-2018 school year as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further comments from the public? Any further debate? Seeing none, all those,
Chair, I just had a question. I wanted to know, did this year, is it worked out for the half an hour early release compared to last year being, what was it? Like
An hour.
half day or whatever?
It was an hour.
Hour?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
we have a motion and a second, correct? Okay, any further debate or questions? All those in favor of approving the 2017-2018 calendar as submitted signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Calendar is passed. And 19, recommendation to approve the adjustment to bus route 1. Is Mr. Anderson?
I'll speak on that.
Okay.
The proposal, and I'm not sure, Alan, did you guys speak in transportation on this?
How about this one?
There, the proposal is that we have lost a couple of kids at the end of this route. And so rather than going out there daily, there's a cluster group at the King Point that he'd like to be able to make that a turnaround. The caveat is that we're going to have a 1A and a 1B. If these students show back up, which traditionally they have been known to come back in the spring, then we will reroute to the 1A versus the 1B and run out to the end of the road. So what he's asking is that we have a closer turnaround spot, just for the fact that we have no one out at the end of the road right now.
I have a question. If we put into place an alternate with 1A and 1B, and that is approved by the County Transportation Committee, will we as a district be able to make that change of going from 1A to 1B without then having to go back to the committee every time to implement that?
I think customarily we would notify them that we're switching back over.
Okay.
I think that's a good check and balance.
But they wouldn't necessarily have to pull together and address that every time? Okay.
That's why they have it on file.
Got it.
That way, so that if that gets there.
So just,
Go ahead.
just so I'm clear, the new terminal will be where Kings Point and Black Point are? That's the mailboxes you're talking about?
I think so, yeah.
As opposed to running all the way out to the end of Kings Point?
Yeah.
The bus goes all the way out to the end of Kings Point?
And it sounds like that's a 0.9, almost a mile from those clusters to the end of Kings Point.
Yeah, that's a tough mile too.
Yeah, especially if it's snowing.
I'm just curious. What does a kid go south for the winter? And then, like, back in the spring, like what? Like, really?
I believe that a grandparent lives out there, and they come back to live with a grandparent. A family member lives in that area.
How?
And that's,
We have a really mobile population.
Oh, I guess.
They don't always go by our calendar.
Okay.
We try to meet them where they are.
too, was
Like
curious to that. Did it show back up?
Yeah, just thought.
Yeah.
Any other questions, trustees? Seeing none at this point, I would entertain a motion to approve the request for the bus route number 1 change.
So,
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Do we have any further comments from the public? Any further debate or questions from the trustees?
I do want it different after this is finished.
Okay. Now I'm curious. Okay. So we have a motion and a second, no further debate. All those in favor of approving the request for the bus route change as submitted signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The bus route change is passed. Trustee Orion, what can we do for you?
Has Polson buses ever traveled any further than the Jolly Pack Rat?
So, I think that's our boundary.
That's the line. Yeah. And I've been here for 4 years. I mean, Carl probably can speak on that better than I can.
Yeah, you can't cross boundaries to pick up
Because that's-
students
that
in
becomes
another
demand,
district.
is it not?
Yeah,
Right.
So there's a cluster of
Right.
kids on that.
Yeah. We can't send buses into Rodeo.
Yeah, we get like it become like the neutral zone. We're in there like.
That makes sense. I'm not doing it with a bus, we're bringing it with a van. No.
Make make sure it's got like stealth coding, zip in, zip out.
There would be no beeping light on that one.
Yeah.
I was going there, but.
Okay. Number 20, resolution to call for trustee elections. Do I need to read the whole thing out loud?
That needs to take time.
Okay. The resolution that we are considering is the trustee resolution calling for an election by mail ballot. Be it resolved, the Board of Trustees for the Polson School District Number 23 of Lake County, State of Montana will hold the annual regular school election by mail ballot on Tuesday, May 2nd, 2017, which date is not less than 70 days after the passage of this resolution. Continue?
Sure, you're doing it.
Voting will end at 8 p.m. on election day. The designated place of deposit will be located at the Lake County Election Office, Lake County Courthouse, Polson, Montana. The purpose of the election is to elect one elementary trustee for the remaining year of a 3-year term and elect 2 elementary trustees for a 3-year term. We're good. Okay. So, any questions, trustees? Any comments? At this point, I would entertain a motion to pass this resolution as read. How about that? We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further questions? Anybody? Today? No? Okay. All those in favor of passing the resolution as read signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The resolution is passed. Don't we forget to sign this before we... All right. Hang on. Recommendation to approve the personnel report. Mr. Elliott.
We have a personnel report for both the high school and elementary districts. There's nothing unusual or out of the ordinary. We would ask that you approve them as submitted.
Okay, let's first consider the high school district report. Do you have any questions?
What's the qualifications on the head of track coach?
What are the qualifications?
Did she run track?
Any other questions?
Jump poles.
Okay, people are getting loopy tonight. All right. So no other questions on the high school district personnel report. Observing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the high school personnel report as submitted. Did I see Shannon? Okay. Second. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further comment? Debate? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the personnel report from the high school district as submitted signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? The personnel report is passed. Now let's consider the elementary school district report. Are there any things of note, Mr. Elliott?
No.
Do we have any
Very
questions,
small.
trustees? Observing stunned silence, is there, I would entertain a motion to pass the elementary school district report as submitted. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any further debate? Any comments from the public? Observing none, all those in favor of approving the personnel report for the elementary school district as submitted signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The personnel reports are both passed. And finally, number 22, we have the recommendation to approve early admittance of students with exceptional circumstances. Mr. Wells, you want to walk us through
We
this?
do. We have, per policy that we passed earlier this year, 3100, gives us the opportunity to enroll 4-year-olds with exceptional circumstances. There are 2 currently. We recommend that we pass those 2 recommendations.
Do we have any questions from the trustees? Okay. At this point, I would entertain a motion to pass the early admittance of students with exceptional circumstances as submitted. Okay. We have a motion and a second. Do we have any comments from the public? Seeing none, do we have any further debate from the trustees? Observing none, All those in favor of approving early attendance of students with exceptional circumstances signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We are passed. All right. Seeing no further business before this board, I hereby adjourn this meeting. Oh, yeah.
You know, March Madness, and I had a lot of people on
Like that.
In March, it's going to be really tough.
Well, that all depends on the agenda, but yes, I'd like to move it along.
March, June will have, April will have a very
Oh,
large.
Carl, nice to see you, man.
Shannon.
I need to change a, like the 10-day policy